You're listening to the Crochet Conversations podcast. Hello again and welcome back to another episode of Crochet Conversations with me, Ines, and
Mel.
So, I hope that you guys are not too overwhelmed from our last episode where we went really technical into yarn.
I'm still overwhelmed.
In this episode, we're going to talk about something even more overwhelming, which is where my money flies to, and that is where to buy yarn.
Yeah, overwhelming for me.
Especially in Singapore, where I feel like the crochet / knit / fiber art industry is not very big, not as big as say in the US. So we promise this episode is not going to be so long-winded, and it's just going to be light, easy. Here are the places where you can spend all your money at.
Yeah, because who doesn't like to talk about shopping, right?
Or especially shopping for yarn. So where would you say is our number one place that we buy yarn?
Overseas. I mean, it is quite difficult, like you say, to find yarn and to purchase like different types of yarn here.
Yeah, especially if you want a good variety, you can't get there here.
I think the difficulty is finding
pretty yarn.
Not just pretty yarn, but the same type of yarn. Because as a business, we don't just want to sell like one or two of this. I mean, we can, but only because of the availability of the yarn. Yeah, but if I want to make like 10 same products for the same type of yarn, I think that's quite difficult to find it here.
Okay, so let's first address the question we get asked more often, which is where do we personally get our yarn from? And where do I buy my yarn from for our business? So actually, we don't buy our yarn for the business in Singapore. We work with a factory in India that manufactures yarn for us. And this goes for our House of Yarn subsidiary brand, which is our yarn and tools brand.
Yep.
As well as the yarn that I use to make our standard products for you guys. So that is like bubble tea holders or drink holders or some pouches. What else? Yeah, basic products like that in our
case.
store. Earphone cases. If you want any of the solid colors or even some of the variegated, the factory that we partner up with, it's not our factory unfortunately, but the factory that we partner up with, we buy our yarn from them because we have a corporate account with them, and then we can buy in bulk with them. And that sort of, for us as a business, ensures that we get a steady supply of yarn no matter what we do. So if you come back to me like a year later with that, you want that same sort of tone of color, I'll be able to get that for you, because this is a business and we need to think about sustainability, and we can't just walk into Spotlight and see what's there and then choose to use that for our business.
Yeah, but for a personal project, I think that's fine. Like somewhere like Spotlight, they do have a good variety.
Yep, so where we get our yarn from for our business, this is the answer from the factory we work with in India. But where I spend my money, that is a different thing. So I do buy my yarn from a few places. So like Golden Dragon is one of them. And then the rest of the places are online. I do buy from Spotlight occasionally, but not as a steady supply of yarn. Right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So I only go to Spotlight if I'm feeling like spending money on buying like yarn.
Okay.
And in fact, I only buy from the mill and packs because it's like special yarn, right? It's like novelty yarn. It's like surprise yarn. And it's, if you've listened to our previous episode, you know I geek out about the type of yarn and the fibers and the fiber content and the everything else. So buying like a mystery pack is like, it's like a mystery box of yarn. Oh, I just realized.
I think that how we shop in Spotlight, it's more of let's go in and
like
take a look.
Window shop.
Yeah. Let's go in, take a look at what they have, and then this looks interesting, special, never seen this before, let's try it out, just for the look and the feel. Experimental.
We almost never ever walk into Spotlight with a set idea of what I want. Because if there's something I need urgently for my business, I'm just going to ring up the factory in India and say, oh, I need this, how soon can you get that to me? So far we haven't needed to do that, thank God. So I feel like if I walk into Spotlight and I happen to see something that's nice, I will take a photo of it and post it on our Instagram and say, hey, look, I found this really yummy looking yarn. It's available.
This yummy looking cake of yarn.
This yummy cake of yarn. It's only available for like the duration of however long this 2 balls of yarn lasts.
Yeah.
And once it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
And I can only make it for like, say, a set different kind of products.
Yeah, correct.
So if I buy like a really chunky or a size 6 or 7 yarn weight, then I know I can only make this with bags, for example. So if someone were to say, hi, can I have this in like something really tiny, I will likely have to reject you because I can't do something so small with such a thick yarn.
Or like sometimes we get like customized projects. People coming to us and say they want something like a specific thing. It's not like I can go to India and say like, hey, I
give
want
me
like
something
just
specific now.
or maybe 5 balls of this type of yarn. So we will go around actually looking for a specific type of yarn.
But only as like a last resort.
Yeah.
To be honest though, when I walk around Spotlight and look at those mill-end packs, I do already have an idea of what I want to make with them, and I just wait for the correct customer, for that magical moment where a customer says, hi, can you make this pouch? And then I show them this yarn and they go, yes, it's beautiful, and then I get to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, that's like the most exciting thing about buying yarn in Spotlight, is that if I happen to have a customer that thinks the same way as me and thinks that this yarn would be beautiful for like a bubble tea holder.
Yeah.
Like recently, if you've seen our Instagram, there is like this cotton candy pastel unicorny yarn.
Yes.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
The light pink and the light purple one.
Yeah, like petal pop
like
color.
the petal pop color one. So that particular one, somebody texted me that very day that I posted it and said, can I have like a bubble tea holder with it? And I was thinking about making bubble tea holders with it when I first saw that yarn. So I somewhat buy it for the business, hoping that a customer will want exactly how I want it to be. And more often than not, like they do, yeah. So we're sort of lucky that way. So I do buy some yarn from Spotlight, but only like a limited, sort of like a limited edition kind of thing.
They're always changing and bringing in like different types of yarn, I would say.
Yeah, different brands.
Yeah,
the thing
all the time.
I really, let's not use too strong a word. The thing I really dislike about Spotlight is the inconsistency of the types of yarn you can get. You can walk in one day and buy, a really nice like pink cotton yarn at like a different, like a category 5. And they just never ever see it again after that.
Correct. Yeah, they might bring it, they might not. You never know. So
it really depends on the factory or like the headquarters in Australia, what they decide to send over to Singapore, and that's how we get it.
Yeah, so if you decide to make something for a particular project, you must already know how much yarn you want, and you just
and buy
have
in
to buy
bulk.
the whole lot.
And I mean, if you're looking for only like acrylic yarn, Spotlight is great for that because they have so many different types. In fact, like last week, I think Spotlight was having a sale, like 5. What was it like?
Yeah, 5 balls for 15. Or
yeah,
something.
that's crazy. 100-gram acrylic ball for $3.
Yeah,
somebody
is
in front of us in the line bought like maybe like 4 or 5 huge bags. He probably had like 100 balls of yarn.
Yeah.
Checked out 100 balls of yarn.
Yeah, and usually we are the one that's doing that.
Yeah, so I turned to man and said, you can never ever say that I'm crazy, that I don't come in and clear stock.
It just means that there's 2 crazy people, you and like that person in front of us.
I mean, and I said that I'm not like that, not ever. And then Mel said, didn't you go to Golden Dragon recently and said, babe, I'm going to clear this shelf, okay?
Yeah, and you did.
I did.
did.
No, I didn't. I almost did. But it was expensive, so I chose not to. Which brings us to our next part. The next place that we buy yarn, which is like Golden Dragon. For those of you who don't know, I mean, no introduction to Spotlight. You can find it in, where's the other place that has Spotlight?
Plaza
Singapura and
the
somewhere
one on
in
the
the
west.
We're obviously living in the east.
Bukit.
No.
Something.
Let's not give out wrong information.
Okay, it's somewhere in the west.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the west, some west mall somewhere, okay? That's Spotlight. And Golden Dragon is situated in Chinatown. I don't know the location. Where is it at?
People's Park Centre.
Center, not complex.
Centre.
Anyway,
anyway.
One of the people's parks.
In Chinatown.
In Chinatown. So it's a really small almost hole in a wall. I mean, if you can imagine how People's Park looks like, it's basically a small little corner tucked away at the very end. You can't even see it from the main floor.
Yeah.
And it's like just
In a pretty old shopping mall.
in a pretty old shopping mall. And it's just a wonderful bunch of old ladies walking around very happily chatting about yarn and selling you yarn.
Yeah. Or occasionally you see them standing in the corner crocheting or knitting something.
Yeah, pre-COVID they used to have a crochet club. I think it's
Crochet
crochet
club.
slash knitting club.
Is it?
At the table. Do you remember you nudged me and said in 50 years time you'll be like one of those people?
Yeah, I'll see you here like every day. I have to send you to like Chinatown every day.
For my crochet community class.
Yeah.
But that's like another good place to buy yarn. But I think they're really overpriced. I think they're really expensive.
They do bring in quite specialty.
A lot of
yarn.
a lot of Japanese yarn they carry.
Yeah.
Japanese brand yarns, which is horrible because we don't know how to read the label.
They do have like little like signage that tells you this means
Oh my
cotton
God.
or like
But-
something like that.
So okay, yeah. So on the wall of Golden Dragon, there's a little chart that has Japanese characters and what they mean beside it. So like there will be like 2 or 3 characters and it says, oh, this means cotton, you know. So you're supposed to find this set of characters in each label and understand that this means cotton.
Yeah.
I think it's impossible.
we use Google Translate, so
Yeah, so when I'm there, I always have Google Translate. I will snap a photo. What's that Google Translate called? Via photo, right? By the
Yeah.
camera, right?
Yep.
So I'll snap a photo of the label, and that's how I know what my what my fiber
Yeah.
type is.
but I do think that their yarn over there are pretty good quality.
Oh
kind
yeah,
of type of yarn.
way better quality.
Yeah.
Even the acrylic is like low pilling acrylic.
Yeah, it's
like,
so soft. It
it
kind of
feels like cotton.
cotton.
Yes, correct. And it's
Yeah.
like good quality acrylic that you can actually make clothes with.
Yeah, and maybe that's why it's
Like more
a lot
expensive,
more
yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
But the whole shop is not just yarn though. The yarn probably only takes up like one wall of the entire shop.
Yeah.
They do have like a cross stitch section. They do have like a bead section.
They have
a
fabrics
sewing.
as well. I've seen before.
Oh yeah, right. A small selection of Japanese fabrics. I find that a lot of the things are very Japanese centered. They've got a rack of magazines entirely in Japanese. So if you're looking for something to actually follow, if you're not familiar with like crochet diagrams or charts, then don't bother because you will not be able to read or translate. Or maybe you can. If you do, then that's good for you.
Yeah.
But me, as somebody who doesn't know anything about reading Japanese, it's like impossible.
Yeah, they have a selected few crochet accessories like hooks and stuff like that, but
Oh
not
yeah,
much.
they carry like expensive crochet hook brands like Tulip or
Clover, was it?
Clover. Yeah, so we walked out as we were leaving the Golden Dragon store the other day. I saw an embroidery scissors for like $97.
No way.
I pointed it to you. I don't know whether you saw,
I
but
think
it was like $90 over, and like this fabric scissors, a small mini travel fabric scissors in a set was like 120.
I think you showed it to me and I remember it. Wow, it's pretty
Being crazy,
it's
yeah.
quite pretty, but
It's so expensive. And the problem with Golden Dragon is that they don't have a good variety of variegated cotton yarn.
okay.
They've got a good like variegated wool
And acrylic, right?
And acrylic, but cotton not so much. Maybe only like 50 grams of something only. Yeah, so you can get that from Golden Dragon. Otherwise, you're sort of like doomed to buy like physical yarn in Singapore. Apart
Yeah,
from these two
that's-
places, where else do we usually buy yarn? Nowhere else, right?
Nowhere else.
You-
They do have. I don't know. I think there are really small independent stores.
Like littered around. I mean, okay, let's talk about like local Singapore makers. If you're talking about independent makers you want to support, there are a few yarn brands. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know 1 or 2 independent yarn dyers in Singapore. But they sell small quantities of yarn that you can buy, I think. If I can find them, I will post them on our Facebook or maybe Instagram.
Yeah.
But you do have some small yarn shops. Like Yarning Hearts. There you go.
Yeah.
I think they're located in like Joo Chiat, maybe. They do bring in different kinds of cotton as well.
Like they'll buy different brands.
Yeah, so they
yarn
like
and they'll bring it in,
they
right?
distribute different types of yarn.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's it's I don't think they have their own house brand.
Yeah, no, they bring in different brands.
Oh, us. We totally forgot you can buy yarn from us.
Of course, right, yeah.
Yeah, so you can buy yarn from us. We carry our own brand of yarn. I can't believe that. I almost forgot. We have like a subsidiary brand called House of Yarn, where we sell, like, we have 15 different colors of like Pima cotton yarn. So it's like a mid between like a super wash and a washed yarn. So it's like, it's easy to use and it's 100% cotton, and it's a category 3. So like the corresponding crochet hook size would be maybe 3.5 mm.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can buy from us. We don't have any variegated yarn currently,
Yeah.
but we're working on it.
Yeah, for sure. If we had the option to bring in different types.
Yeah, I would really love to work with like a local dyer.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be.
And in fact, I would like to dye yarn myself.
Just try it out, right?
Just to try it out, yeah. So we were thinking of, in our next shipment of yarn from India, to bring in some unwashed, like straight up white, unwashed yarn, and see if we can do it ourselves. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I think that would be really fun to experiment.
Did I send you something on Instagram recently where somebody used Kool-Aid powder to dye the yarn?
Yes, you did. And the colour turned out really nice.
So nice, right? Yeah, so you can use like really highly pigmented stuff like Kool-Aid, that drink Kool-Aid. They sprinkled the Kool-Aid powder onto different parts of the yarn and soaked in hot water.
It's amazing how the colours turn out.
Right, you can use so many things. I see people use avocado skin.
No way.
Or like the red lettuce to dye, like natural dye.
Like fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and veggies, yeah.
Wow.
So that's something that you could do too.
Okay.
I would love to do that actually.
Fruits and veggie.
Fruits and veggie dye,
I want to eat the fruits and veggie.
Fruits and veggie dye.
Don't take my fruits and veggie.
So like, yeah, that's another place you can buy, which is from us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a few of the online places you can go is Hobby Yarn.
Mm-hmm.
HOBBI. Is there 2 I's?
1 I think.
I think it's Hobby Yarn, but it's I think it's like a European, it's a European company. I don't remember where, maybe like Germany or something, and they have really, really, really beautiful cotton yarn, and it's got such nice variegations as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not expensive. Well, okay, I take that back. The yarn itself is not expensive. It's including shipping that will double the cost of your yarn.
Yeah.
It's one of those places where you buy like $2 for a ball of yarn and the shipping is like $3.
Yeah, which kind of adds up at the end of the day.
Yeah, but if you really want like good quality, beautiful, fun yarn, you can look at that.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can look at different brands itself. So you can go online and search for the different brands if you have a particular brand that you like. Like for me, I like Lana Grosso. Lana Grosso is my favorite type of brand of yarn.
Yeah.
So I happen to be, like I mentioned in my last episode, I happened to be in Germany earlier last year before COVID hit, and I came across this yarn stall, yarn shop just by the side of the road that sold like 90% Lana Grosso. It took all of my willpower not to just spend all my money there. But it was so beautiful. They have all different kinds of like novelties, special yarn. Okay, sorry, I'm getting carried away. This is not the point of this video.
Yeah, but they do have very nice, variegated.
Yeah, they do. Another place you can get is probably like Yarnspiration's website. But the thing you have to take note of is that they don't ship to Singapore directly. So you need to use like a third party courier service or like a mail forwarder.
Right.
But you can get really good cheap yarn.
Yeah, they are a really big brand in the
really
US,
big
right?
brand. In fact, Spotlight carries some of their stuff, but only very few. Only a small selection because they do ship to Australia.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Our Singapore Spotlight gets our stock from Australia.
Australia, yeah.
So that's another place. Otherwise, where else do we get yarn? Actually, it's not that easy to buy yarn in Singapore, I think.
No, it's really not.
Which I suppose why people ask, this is like our number one question we get.
Like, where do you actually get your yarn from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's not disappointing that we don't get our yarn here.
There are a lot of options like online nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, even all the independent stores and the smaller stores in Singapore, they bring in yarns from multi-brands as well.
For me personally, my dad's a pilot and he travels a lot. So when he was still working, he would buy yarn for me from overseas,
Yeah.
from like specialty yarn shops and all that. So I that's how I get some of my yarn, but it's only like one or two skeins. So usually I keep that for my own personal projects.
Yeah, correct.
We travel a lot too, me and Mel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we used to travel a lot, me and Mel.
We always do take some time off to look for yarn shops just to see what they have there.
She's underplaying it. We set aside one day to look for yarn. Oh, okay, rather I sort of say we need to set aside this half a day to look for yarn. We don't, so when we are planning our itinerary when we travel, we usually keep that day sort of free because I promise, I will go out of my way to a different district to go to that yarn shop. And then, you know, sort of my justification is we also get to explore this other district
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
So recently we were in Japan. I keep saying recently, but actually it's quite some time ago.
Yeah.
It's pre-COVID.
We like to believe that it was recently.
It just feels like we've been stuck at home for so long that, you know, the days and the months sort of melt together, and I feel like we just came back from Germany and Japan. In fact, it's been like over a year. What was I gonna say?
We buy yarn from overseas, from our Japan trip.
Oh yeah. So we, like, when we travel, we make sure to set aside time to go. In fact, it's one of those things I Google first. Yarn shops in so and so,
Yeah.
where and where, you know.
It's like, is it near us? Is it like, how far do we have to travel, to get there?
And I will travel the distance. I will go the distance for yarn.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too because visiting these yarn shops overseas sort of gives you a glimpse into the culture, so like for example in Japan there was sort of like natural source yarn.
Yeah.
There was such a big category of cotton yarns, linen yarns, a lot of wool as well, of course, because it's cold and they need the wool to keep them warm. But there's a very huge category of variegated cotton yarn,
Yeah.
which sort of gives you a glimpse into like what the people like to use, right? So if cotton is widely available, then we know they like to use cotton.
Yeah.
So that's something that I find really interesting as well. What else?
I just thought of another place that apparently sells yarn.
Where?
Daiso.
Daiso, yes, you're right.
Yeah, we were so surprised like when we went to Daiso, the very first time where we actually saw yarn there. And they even have like crochet hooks and knitting needles and
They used to have crochet hooks.
I mean now they don't have it anymore, I guess.
It's so hard to find crochet. Okay, yeah, so let's backtrack. Daiso
Yeah.
is another place that you can buy yarn, but I think Daiso acrylic yarn sucks balls. No pun intended.
Yeah.
I think it's a horrible, horrible, horrible quality.
I mean, it is $2, so.
But it's also $2 for like 25 grams. So if you multiply that, 100 grams is like $8.
Which is, I guess, not very cheap.
That's quite expensive for a ball of acrylic yarn, I think. And they trick you into, they sell it to you in one big pack. And they say, oh, this whole pack for $20. But actually, they just multiply the price for you. You don't get a better price. You can find some cotton. Occasionally, but they're really, really thin. Almost like a lace weight. Probably a category like 1 yarn. Very, very thin cotton that it's not, you can't really crochet with it.
Right.
Daiso used to have t-shirt yarn.
Yes,
I
I remember
when they used to have t-shirt yarn?
Also in very small quantities.
Very hard to find. So small quantity that I don't know what you can do with it.
Yeah.
It's like 25 grams per ball.
Yeah.
What can you do with it?
Yeah, and now that you mention it, it is more expensive if you put it together. If I'm buying like 5 or 10 balls.
Yeah, if you add up the price of them individually, actually Daiso is not the cheapest place to buy. But Daiso crochet hooks are wonderful. If you can still find them.
Yeah, so far we've been to all the Daiso outlets and we haven't really seen.
Okay, we've been to all the Daiso outlets that we've come across.
Oh, that's near us, yes, of course.
So that's like Plaza Singapura.
All the central ones, like the ones in Orchard.
Really?
Yeah. Or like Chinatown.
Chinatown. Yeah, we can't find any, but I really love the Daiso's ergonomic crochet hooks. I think they're really comfortable to use. I don't like the plastic ones, so whatever you do, don't buy the Daiso plastic ones. The one that is like the entire plastic is like cast, almost like resin, like clear.
Oh, okay.
I really hate those. They're light and plasticky feeling and they don't feel comfortable to work with.
Difficult to use.
It's not difficult, but it's not tactile enough.
Right, okay.
It feels so light and flimsy, like it could break any moment.
Okay.
But they've got a good range of knitting needles.
I mean, if you can
Knitting
find them.
stuff. They've got like knitting looms. They've got like embroidery scissors, lots of them.
So I guess if you are starting out, there are some accessories that you can, find,
Yeah, totally.
find in Daiso for affordable price.
If you are just starting out, I think Daiso is wonderful because you can just go in, buy one crochet hook for $2, and if you decide crochet is not for you, it's only $2 that you're wasting.
Yeah.
You're not buying like a $12 tulip crochet hook.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Right.
from Golden Dragon.
Yeah, because even for me, before I bought that $12 tulip hook, I sort of stood there deliberating for like a good 20 minutes. Like, do I want to buy? I put it back. I picked it up. I put it back. I picked it up.
Then I put it back.
And then I picked it up. Things like that. So Daiso is a good place for you to experiment if that's what you want.
Yeah.
But it's not for the serious crafter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anybody that does crafting would agree with me, because they carry all sorts of things like polymer clay, like molds, like beading stuff, but it's not substantial enough on its own.
Yeah.
If
And
you're just-
sometimes the quality is a bit questionable.
Yeah, very questionable. And specifically for yarn, there's only really two types of yarn you would want to think about as a crocheter or a knitter. Cotton or acrylic, which is really the two basic. And both that in that category sucks balls for them. Both acrylic is horrible, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And the cotton is so thin and so little quantity that it's almost unusable. And it's so hard to find crochet hooks.
Yeah,
So,
but-
okay, do you think they'll come after us? I hope not.
I don't think so. But I mean, the fact is that,
It's just coming from my personal
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, and we are talking about where you can find yarn, and Daiso is a place where you can find yarn.
Yeah, it's
you know?
just you can't find really good yarn.
Yeah. I mean, we will not recommend that there.
Yeah, so if you were to ask me my favorite top place, if I had to rate them, then Golden Dragon would be number one, followed by
Spotlight?
followed by buying it, supporting a local maker, a
Yeah,
local
okay.
yarn supplier. That would be my number two. The only reason that's not number one is because
What is not number one?
supporting a local.
Okay, yeah.
And that's sort of a little bit hypocritical, I think, because we are like local sellers.
Yeah.
But it can get expensive sometimes because they're bringing smaller quality. The plus side is that you're getting really, really good quality. Golden Dragon is number one just for the different variety you have, and the quality of yarn is so good.
Yeah.
And don't forget, as a beginner, the more money you invest in yarn, the easier your life will be when you crochet. The shittier the yarn you use, the harder of time you will have crocheting.
Yeah, and I think that is what happens to a lot of people who start crocheting first, because you think that you don't actually need to buy like good quality yarn, but you
Yeah.
end up getting really frustrated while you're crocheting.
And so like I think there's like a difference of opinion where people say, yeah, you can go to Daiso, just buy a yarn and hook and give it a try.
Yeah.
But if you don't get a good type of yarn and hook, it can really turn you off the whole craft.
you
in
don't find it fun to crochet something that's so
because you are
tedious.
struggling more than you are crocheting.
Yeah, exactly.
So number one would be Golden Dragon. They should really like give us some like commission. We are not affiliated with them, by the way. So number one would be that. Number two would be local sellers. Number three would be maybe Hobby Yarn, buy online. Number four is Spotlight,
Okay.
because I don't like buying from Spotlight.
Yeah.
And yeah, number six, if you can obviously go overseas and buy yarn there, make it a trip, make it like part of your itinerary to go and buy
Yeah, if
yarn.
you can, yeah.
Because it's also a really nice glimpse into someone's culture and what kind of materials they like. So I remember talking to somebody from like the Middle Eastern countries, and they were saying that you very rarely find like animal-based wool in their country because they are afraid of like coming in contact with like animals that maybe is not more inclined to their religious or religious needs, or
Yeah, okay.
so they like to use like plant-based,
More natural ones.
more synthetic ones.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and if you don't know much about natural yarn or synthetic yarns and all that, listen to our previous episode.
We rambled on for an hour about yarn. Oh, actually, I rambled on for an hour about yarn. There's just so much to cover, and in fact, I don't even think I covered.
No,
I didn't even
just
go
the
in
basics.
depth. Just the umbrella of yarn, the different yarn weights, the different yarn categories. What else did I say?
What is yarn weight and what is yarn weight?
Yeah, the difference between yarn weight and yarn weight.
Yeah. If that sounds confusing, listen to our previous episode. Yeah.
So that's where we buy yarn. Very disappointing, I know, because there's not a lot of places.
Yeah, it's just we are a small community in Singapore, and it's just the way it is. And there is still options because
yeah, and I like to support buying yarn locally. I mean, although I mentioned some overseas websites,
yeah,
if we can support and buy yarn locally, like either from Spotlight or say Golden Dragon, which I really want to support them, because the longer they are in business, the bigger our community will grow, I feel. So this podcast, for example, also is to help shed light onto the whole world and to demystify some things like a newbie beginner, a newbie crocheter or whatever would have questions about. And so if our community can grow, then the longer we stay in business, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely don't just think about, because we say Golden Dragon is really good and just purchase yarn from them. You should open up and even try buying, yarn from Spotlight, just for your experience.
I mean, you don't really know good yarn until you use bad yarn.
Yeah.
So go to Daiso, buy a $2, ball of yarn and do up a swatch.
Yeah, that's a very good.
Do up a swatch and then think about how it feels. Think about if it squeaks on your hook. Think about if it gets caught or the strength of it, and then compare it with a better quality yarn from Spotlight.
Yeah, that's very good advice.
Or even better quality yarn from Golden Dragon, or even better quality yarn from the local sellers. Because I think the local sellers really have quality that are much, much, much higher than you can get from a retail store.
Yeah, I mean retail store have everything, right? They just bring in everything, all the variety, but I think for independent sellers, even ourselves, we know the type of yarn that we like, or it's easy to use, and we just bring those in.
And if you have questions, you can speak to them directly, which is what I like to. I think my problem with going to a retail store and buying it is that if I have questions, if I want to know,
can't really help you, right?
Yeah, if I want to know if I wash this, will it shrink? Because it's cotton and it doesn't state it's pre-wash or superwash or washed cotton.
Yeah. Will
it shrink? Then they don't know how to answer me.
Yeah.
Because they're a bunch, they're lovely old ladies, but they're still old ladies.
Yeah. They're this is cotton. Then that's it.
Yeah, and they're very scoldy. They very, I feel like they're always scolding people.
Yeah.
Because they're old ladies, right? So they're naturally very particular about their shop, and they watch you like a hawk.
Yeah. And they are, I guess, very experienced in what they know and what they do. So when you ask basic questions, it might come across as very stupid questions. Yeah. So they are very scoldy in that sense.
But with that said, just ask.
Yeah.
I always tell especially the younger students who take crochet with me, just ask. If you have questions, just ask. Don't be afraid of looking stupid, because you only look stupid once.
Yeah.
But after you ask, you will always know it and you will never look stupid again.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. So I hope this episode has answered some of your questions. If you have any extra questions, you can send us a message on our Instagram or our Facebook. You can find us at @crookedcrochetsg or our website www.crookedcrochet.com. You can even actually WhatsApp me,
Yeah.
Right, I just realized. You can text me at my business number is
91272743.
Wow, not bad. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you can WhatsApp me there if you have any questions, and just say that you came from our podcast episode.
Yeah, have conversations with us.
I love to talk about yarn. If there's one thing I can talk about yarn, I can talk about yarn.
You might regret asking her.
You might, you
questions,
just might.
So just beware.
But I love to talk to you guys.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Especially since COVID hit and we can't do flea markets and art markets
Yeah.
anymore. It's been really sad because I can't talk to you guys.
Yeah, we do miss talking to our customers and getting more insights, feedback on, everything.
Yeah, I can't put a face to the name anymore.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people come up to us and say, oh, I am this username. And I'm like, oh, I know you. I always see you
or like,
commenting.
I bought from you like the last time you were at the flea and
Or
like, I
better
bought
still,
this.
they bring back
Yeah.
they carry the clutch or the bag or whatever, and then they wave it at me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so talk to me, leave us a message if you have any questions or any other things you want to know. You can like just drop me a message or either on Instagram or Facebook, which I don't check Facebook so often to be honest, but you can still message me there. I might take a while to reply, but I think it's best to just WhatsApp me directly.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in our next episode.
Yes.
Okay, see you next week in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.